How's everybody doing?
Good.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. I know there's not a lot of you, but the more enthusiastic you guys are, the better the show that I'm going to do. As a matter of fact, your enthusiasm actually helps my courage out in here. Anybody that tells you they're not afraid of a job like mine, I promise you they're lying, or they lost their screw somewhere down the line. So, before we get started, I want to let you guys know I'm not paid for by the Jungle Queen. I do volunteer my time out here to educate you and to entertain you as well. So anything you guys do leave in these white tip buckets around you is much appreciated. That's how I feed my family. It's also how I pay my medical bills. As you can imagine, somebody like myself is not very easily insurable. So having said that, after the show, I'm going to have a baby alligator. He's about 3 feet long. I tape the mouth shut. You guys can hold him, take pictures with him. As for a $5 donation per person, it's $10 if you do it as a group. That money there goes back to these two guys right here and to help us with the nuisance alligators. So what I'm going to be showing you guys is alligator wrestling. But truth be told, I'm not going to be wrestling or fighting with any animals. I actually do care deeply about these reptiles. What it is, however, by the way, you guys can have your cameras out throughout the entire show. I'll get you some good pictures. So what it is, however, is a barehanded capture technique that was developed by and perfected by the Seminole and Miccosukee people. So to understand this, you have to think back into the early days. In the early 30s and 40s, a Seminole man would have to hunt for his family, okay? He would hunt for small pigs, raccoons, things like that. Nice big kiss for that big boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got all 5. So a Seminole man would have to go hunt for his family, and he would hunt these small mammals. Problem with that is that sometimes they were a week, 2 weeks away from camp. And in this hot Florida sun, they would try and bring that animal back, and the meat would rot in the hot Florida sun. So they would either have to cook it on the spot, or they developed this barehanded capture technique, which I'm about to show you, where one Seminole man could go out into the wild by himself. They could capture an alligator by himself, bring it back live, tied up, storm in a pit just like this. When the family was ready to eat, they went ahead and pulled that alligator out and they had fresh meat. Makes sense, right? So, oh, Bubba. Big kiss. So, a little bit about these two alligators. This one in front of me here, his name is Big Boy for obvious reasons. He's about 12 feet. Weighing in at about 850 pounds. That guy right there, his name is Blackie, weighing in at about 200 pounds, and he's about 8 feet. Now, inside the mouth, there are 40 teeth on top, 40 teeth on the bottom. That's 80 good reasons to not do exactly what I'm doing right now. 1,800 pounds of pressure per square inch when they bite down. What that means is that anything that goes inside the alligator's mouth most indefinitely stays inside the alligator's mouth. Is everybody with me now? That just kind of livens up the crowd a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to show you now is the barehanded capture technique that was used by the Seminole and Miccosukee people back in the day. Real quick, we'll pull this guy out. Notice that I grab him by the tail when I want to pull him out. Simple reasoning behind that. Look real close, there's no teeth on this end. So what we're going to do is called a quick catch. So I want to situate him over here so that everybody can see, for one. And then very quickly, very carefully, when he's not paying attention, I want to get to his back as quickly and safely as possible. So now we have captured an alligator. Have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, all right, all right. As I said before, the closing power on these animals is immense. 1,800 pounds of pressure per square inch, and that's even greater for larger animals. However, their opening ability is not as much. That means that I can hold his mouth shut with just my 2 hands, okay? That does not make him safe. I want to let you guys know, where I'm sitting, believe it or not, is the safest place on the point of an alligator. However, if he shakes, rattles, rolls, and breaks loose from my grip, this is no longer the safest point on an alligator. Okay, so now that I've captured this guy, let's use our imagination and pretend I'm a Seminole man, which I look nothing like a Seminole man aside from this t-shirt, but bear with me. So the Seminole man has caught his alligator. Now he wants to secure these jaws. So what he's going to do is he's going to tie a rope around the jaws. Now what do you need to tie a rope, ladies and gentlemen, besides a rope? What do you need?
Hands.
2 hands, right? You need 2 hands, that's right. You need 2 hands to tie a rope. Something has to hold this mouth shut. little girl, can you come in here and hold this mouth shut so I can tie the rope for the crowd? I'm kidding. That's nice. She said okay. That's about the first one that's done that. Usually they're shy down. I'll remember that. That's good. So, kidding, of course. I wouldn't make you do that, even though I bet you would. But with my chest and my chin, I'm going to hold his mouth shut. This technique is called bulldogging, and again, this is exactly how they did it back in the day. So they caught their alligator, they got to tie a rope, chest and chin, hold this alligator's mouth shut. That enables me to have 2 free hands. I can take out my rope, tie it around his jaws, and bring him home to my mother-in-law. Sounds good, right? I bet there's some people in the crowd that might want to do that too. All right, now, I want to let you guys know, I've been doing this for about 5.5 weeks, so I'm a professional. And I saw some cool stuff on YouTube the other day that I'm going to try out right now. This one here is called the Florida Smile. Get your cameras out. This looks really, really good. It's very dangerous, but the outcome is awesome. Ready? 1. Florida Smile on 3. 2. 3. I'm trying to hold it. Thank you. That's my best joke, by the way. Lost my last job last week. I was a stand-up comedian at the Hard Rock. Didn't go so well. All right, here we go. Before we get started with the rest of the Alligator Show, I do want to let you guys know one thing. These guys are ambush predators. What that means is if you go into the wild here in Florida, which there are 1 million alligators in the state, there are 5 million in existence. They go from all the way to the southern tip of Florida, all the way over to Louisiana, straight across to North Carolina. 5 million in existence. If you see one in the wild, what you're going to see is the tip of his nose and the top of his eyes in the water. Okay, what that enables them to do is hunt. You can imagine that an animal this size, if his whole body was showing, would have a really, really hard time sneaking up on anything. So he sticks just the top of his head out of the water. What that enables him to do is right here with his nostrils, he can smell prey from over a mile away. Right behind his eyes, he's got these little ear flaps right here. He uses them for a couple of things. He can shut those ear flaps when he goes underneath the water so no water gets in. At the top of the surface, he will flutter them up and down, and he can hear fish jump out of the water from over 100 meters away. Now, right in front of that, he's got 3 sets of eyelids. 1 opens and closes just like us, as you guys can see. Here you go. And then the second set is called the nictating membrane. It is a clear lens that slides from back to front, clearing out dust and debris. It is also a set of goggles for him underneath the water. That's right here. Ready? Come on, Bubba. We talked about this before the show. You said you were going to do it for me. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, he's not cooperating. Let's see if we can show you on this side here. Right there, that little clear lens that goes over. The third set of eyelids, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, is the coolest set. Remember, in the wild, an alligator's biggest enemy is another alligator. So if another alligator comes to bite him in the head, he can sink his eyeballs directly into his skull. He does this to survive, ladies and gentlemen. If he loses one eye, he's got a 50% chance of survival. Lose both eyes, can't see, can't eat, can't survive, right? So, this developed from a hunting technique into a show in the early 30s, 1932 to be exact. They built the Tamiami Trail. That travels from Tampa all the way down to Miami. Tourists would drive by on this road, see a Seminole man in the swamp on the back of an alligator by himself. Of course, they'd pull over, ask some questions, take some pictures, then they started to throw a little bit of money for gratitude. Concept born. Instead of using these alligators for food, we will go ahead and use them for the shows. So they soon found out the crazier the tricks they would do, the more money people would give them. So for your entertainment and your money, I'm going to stick my face in this alligator's mouth. No? No? This guy's like, no, don't do that. All right, hold on. That's a sick joke, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I'm not going to do that. Here we go. Oh, a little dancing, a little dancing. But what I am going to show you right now is the close shave. This next trick here, if it goes correctly, we call it the close shave. If it does not go correctly, we call it the face-off. You'll see why. Kidding. That was close, right? You guys want to see one more trick? Yeah. You ready to see one more trick? All right, a little enthusiasm for this last one. You guys ready to see one more trick?
Yeah.
All right. Here's the money shot, ladies and gentlemen. That sick joke I told you about, we're going to make that happen right now. Here we go. Listen, little girl, you have to watch because if something happens, I need you to save me. It's like a dentist appointment for the alligator. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys coming out. That is Alligator Wrestling. Again, if you guys want to join me in the back of the pit with that baby alligator, how about a round of applause for these